just stupid fast. This is like Commander Mini on steroids. This thing is like a mini V14. This thing is a friggin' weapon. You can get on the gas as hard as you want, but it's a rocket. The torque is so strong. I'm not even trying this. This is gonna be, to be real with you guys, I did do a little ride just to get used to it beforehand. We had to go into town and grab a couple things, so I do have about 20 kilometers on the wheel right now. Now we're running it in the stock configuration. I did change the tire. You're gonna see in the video later. So the generation 1, or let's call it V1 wheel from Inmotion. This thing's just stupid fast. I got Jaden, JTEUC on Instagram. Check him out at JTEUC. He's filming right now. If you've seen our YouTube reviews for the other wheels, the 16-inch, this is the final wheel that's gonna wrap up the 16-inch category for 2023. 16-inch being the main category. 2023 has been all about those small wheels. And I never thought that I'd really like it or be into it, because I like my big wheel. I like that centrifugal force and weight just holding you back. But this thing, oh man, I'm telling you, this thing is just untouchable. So me and Jaden went out earlier. He went out earlier with this wheel and me, and he was riding Patton, and he couldn't keep up. Not because he's not a good rider, just because the alarm systems on Patton are much more conservative, and they allow a little more headroom for you to make mistakes and keep you safe. All the other wheels weren't quite like that. V14, I can cruise at 70 with this thing. It's pretty awesome. So what we're gonna do right now, we're gonna take it to our regular paces. You'll notice here on the trail, they changed it up a little bit, but it's still pretty much the same thing. And then heavy on the gas, heavy on the gas. Oh my God, this thing's insane. Oh, one thing I love about Inmotion is the tilt back. The tilt back on this wheel, you can't miss it. Ooh, you cannot miss it. If you miss it, you probably shouldn't be riding. I just bumped into the 70s right there, and this wheel totally just kicked back on me. And the thing I like about this versus Patton, one thing to really note is the difference between Patton and Inmotion's tilt back is Inmotion has a more gradual tilt back at the beginning, and then after that, after it gives you a little bit of tilt back and a warning, it'll go into an aggressive stance of tilt back, and it's like, hey, slow down. This is all we've got. If you want us to keep you safe, listen. So I'm gonna hook it left here. I can't even explain. If you guys seen my Commander Mini review, you know how hyped up I was. This is like Commander Mini on steroids. The fact that I'm on this wheel makes it feel like a mini V13. So we got Sherman S and we got Patton. Patton does not feel like a mini Sherman S. Commander Mini and Commander, they're similar. They're like long lost relatives, or like a big brother, big little brother, right? This thing is like a mini V13. Inmotion suspension on this wheel is rather firm, but I can smash it, not worry about bottoming out the shock, which is really cool. And now I haven't dialed in anything with the suspension. We're running 35 PSI. I kind of feel like I need to drop that a little bit because it's pretty firm right now. Now we're gonna take it onto the road a little bit. After riding this in the store a couple minutes, I realized that it's the same tire that Patton, Commander Mini, and Extreme had, and I knew it had to go. It's a good tire, but it really doesn't help in the streets at all. The tire we chose is a little more of a hybrid, and it's got a little bit better traction. Like if I'm standing on the wheel right here now and I start leaning, I know each way I lean, I'm gonna have the same amount of tire on the ground. Whereas if you are like this with the stock tire, going straight, you have a wide surface on the ground. As soon as you lean, either left or right, whatever it may be, you'll notice that you have less traction and you have less tire contact with the ground. And that's not what I'm all about. I like the traction. We gotta put rubber to the ground to have fun and be safe as we can anyway, right? You can see the CN Tower. This is our beautiful city, Toronto. I know you want to visit sometime. Come on down and see us at Ride 1. We'll hook you up with a wheel, some gear, and join us on the streets for a good time. This is Front Street. We got the Union Station, which is pretty famous here in Toronto. This thing is a friggin' weapon. You can get on the gas as hard as you want, and my pedal stiffness at the moment is 68%, I believe. But it's a rocket. It just leans and goes. And I got the cameraman behind me. One thing I noticed, and it might be tire pressure, but this wheel doesn't feel as good on the stairs. And I think I have the tire a little bit too high. The torque is so strong on this thing. If you're leaning back and you want to slow down, what I'm noticing is the sound that I'm hearing there is actually the tire braking and grinding on the edge of the stairs, which is cool because normally you get a little bit of give from the tire that way. I'm not even trying this. No. Yeah? All right. No, I'm not gonna break it. I just want to. What the f was that? All right, so V14 just decided to do an involuntary smoke show. Sorry, Toronto, we didn't mean to deface the stairs. My nose is runny because it's cold here. You guys want to climb stairs, you can go for it. That's not my cup of tea. See, now with the berm angle on, you can do any low angles that you want. It cut out on me earlier and I fell on my hurt wrist, so I'm glad that didn't happen again. Let's do a little bit of traffic dancing here. Wee-hoo. So they're doing some construction here, some sort of construction. I think we should stay on the other side. This thing is super stable and super light. V13 has power that you have to wind up to get to. And it's so much of it there and it's just consistent. You can see we're head and head right now. Jaden doesn't play around. Every moment me and him are beside each other, it's a race, you know? And it tells you V13 and V14 are in par with power. The fact that we got so much power on this 16-inch wheel, which is different from anybody else. The biggest power that we got right now on 16-inch, other than Inmotion, is the Bigode, which is 4,000, right? So 4,000 watts with a peak of what, 9,000? This is what we call Nathan Phillips Square. The whole city comes here for skating. We're gonna put some studs on our wheels and come back here soon. So we're gonna head back to the CN Tower and catch up with some of our friends. We've invited some people from Toronto e-riders and the Toronto riding community to come down and test out this wheel and see how they like it. So another reason I really wanted to put this tire on is because it has the same characteristics and profile as V13. It's impressive how good the battery is and how long it lasts with this messing around. It really, it's almost like you're doing squats. It's in there here, yeah. There's our boy Jesse.
Oh my God. Yeah, like that's mint. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm coming from something like a Sherman where it's like constantly dipping and stuff like that. It's completely different. It feels solid. Like you can't do anything to it. And even like riding like an S22 like that one, it's the 1,000-pound spring, and I'm sure it comes come with other options, but a 1,000-pound spring is nice and refreshing when compared to something mushy. Even like 210, trying to.
You weigh 210?
I weigh 210. Yeah, 210. It's not. You're not making this thing bounce at all, which is nice when you're really, really ripping it. Feels great.
But going down the set definitely feels like it's doing something. When you're riding it at first, it doesn't feel like it's doing anything, but it's definitely working. It's definitely doing some stuff. It's just unlimited amount of power right from the get-go. You just can lean right into it. Oh, and it just wants to take off. Right now, trying to sit down on it, it's a little not possible, at least not for me and the way I sit, but I'm sure with due time, Inmotion's coming out with some wicked seats or something for this guy. So just to put that in perspective, that's the third time I've ever went downstairs in my life. That felt amazing. The suspension, when you first like step on it and bounce on it, doesn't feel like it's doing anything. I'm probably 115, 120 pounds, 130 geared up. The suspension definitely moves. It definitely absorbs a lot of that. This is going to feel really exceptional on the landings of jumps, I think. I think the compression, like if you're riding street, you want it loose. You want to hit those bumps and not feel them. But for like this type of stuff, jumping in and off-roading, yeah, urban riding, perfect. Oh, like this wheel's so nimble. This is probably one of my favorite wheels I've ridden this year, for sure. But riding comparison, the Adventure definitely has a lot more oomph to it. It feels like it wants to get going, and I feel like we're going to see a lot of people saying they're more comfortable on high speeds on this than the Extreme. But for urban and stuff, I think it's going to be amazing. I'm quite excited to see how it performs on the trails, on the track, on the jumps. This is exciting.
Woo. About to say, I was like, these aren't the same ones. I mean, oh, that feels great. Yeah, I was just saying, but I think I prefer this to the patent suspension for stairs, because it's predictable, especially for off-roading too. I like the spring feeling over the hydraulic fluid or whatever. It's more predictable. Like when you hit something, you know exactly what you're gonna get out of it. And I kind of still like to feel what I'm hitting just a little bit with suspension for off-road, just so I kind of know the terrain I'm on and what I just hit. Because otherwise you get really comfortable hitting something because like suspension absorbs it all until you hit something that suspension doesn't take well or your rebound isn't fast enough, and then it jars you. Whereas if you have that like haptic feedback almost of what you're hitting, you're not gonna get like too comfortable hitting the same type of obstacles. That took that like a dream. That was really, really nice actually.
Oh! All right, we got this wheel. First jump out of ride one. This gummy. It's another one of those words we always use, gummy. Don't forget it's a 16-inch wheel. See that headlight just going nuts. It's a little bit. See if we can get a little bit early. I want to compare it to my RS High Torque with suspension, of course, because that's what I ride, but we'll see how it actually fares out in the end. Holds itself up really nice. I guess that's kind of the quality of a kind of suspension. Feel that knobby, that brand new knobby on the wheel. Oh, that feels great. Man, it just wants to tilt over. I mean, it comes with the name V14, like it's the new big thing, but it's like a 16-inch. Like it feels like a 16-inch. You want to ride it like a 16-inch. I kind of want to like take it through the dirt here a little bit. Yeah, so I mean, it acts like a 16-inch for sure. It's nice. It wants to swirl around like a nice 16-inch wheel. I don't know, you can't forget it's a 16-inch wheel, even though it kind of feels a little chunkier. Let me hit up these rocks over here. All right, a decent grade. Well, that's pretty easy. All right, let's get a better grade. Let's get this one right here. That was actually pretty good. That was kind of impressive. Let's do the highest grade we got over on this side. Hey, grunt it a little bit, yeah. Let's get a little more of a grunt here if we can. Oh, wow. I didn't even try. I'm not even trying. Like I'm barely even leaning forward. How about going back in reverse? We go nice and slow. Oh, not quite. But that's actually like madly impressive that I could almost come from almost a dead stop. Let it work its way up there, just all on its own.
I'm about 200 pounds. Oh, what the fuck is this? Yo, what? This is up. Dude, I didn't think it would do it. Like that good. What in the friggity frack is going down?
This is crazy.
Yo, who else wants to feel this? Is nuts.
The suspension feels really nice. Oh my God. It's effortless. Barely need to put any sort of like authority. Like just nice and soft.
What the f? That's crazy. That's nuts. I can't believe I climbed that. I've never done anything like that. What is happening?
This feels like a gaming chair. Like it's not very stiff. It's ready to go. I'm sure it feels better probably in just regular drive mode, not sport. It's sittable. And I'm 6'2", so if I can sit on it, so can you.
Such a nice wheel, like. That's all good. There goes the tire.
It's got good torque. The pads that come, are these the pads that come with it? Yeah. They're kind of
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ride One channel. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a really long time since we've uploaded things, and there's a good reason for that. I hurt myself. Our cameraman hurt himself. We've been having fun. This actually wasn't very fun, but we'll get into that later. We got E-Rider in the house.
What's up?
We got Shira, Speedy Kit Kat, Jameson. We're gonna put his Instagram handle because it's fancy, I can't really remember. JTEUC in the house. Corey from Ride One. B-Ride from Ride One to his left. What's up, boys? Miss Princess. Princess, you're back, baby. Hi, mamas.
I can see.
Good girl.
Hey, come here. I love you.
Anyway, we have a wheel unbox, and I got the crew here. Let's do this.
Okay, take this down.
I'm gonna let you guys take the.
Oh, look, we got. It's almost like they're fairings, like they're like plastic. It's like they're fairings, huh? With like plastic and Velcro. There you go. It's a unit. It's more square than I thought it'd be, but that's the new.
In there, guys.
That's the battery case for you. No kickstand or anything.
Where's the button?
So I'm pretty sure there's going to be potentially more content on like a breakdown, but Out of box, this is pretty easy. You're just like throwing this kind of in place and screwing it on. Once you figure that out.
So like every other wheel that we get here at Ride One, we're going to do a quality control check just to make sure that Inmotion has learned from their accidents in the past with the V14, or excuse me, the V13. We had some issues with the motor bolts coming loose and breaking. The whole world was like, oh, Inmotion doesn't know what they're doing. They're putting bolts that are garbage, when realistically it was a grade 12 bolt from the factory. It was just loose. So we're going to pull the hangers off here, crack all these loose. One thing, zoom in here, Eric, check this out. See the little white mark that they're putting on the housing here from the Allen key head to the actual mount for the pedal hanger? It's just a QC mark. You'll see a lot of this stuff on vehicles and cars that like fuel injection pumps and injection pumps that have a warranty. If this is tampered with and you go to make a claim from Inmotion and say, oh, you know, the wheels give me problems, I've never touched it, but they see that this little seal has been disrupted, your warranty is void.
Now, my question for you is, have you seen that in PEVs yet?
No, this is the first time.
This is the first time,
It's
period.
good. It's good because it makes me a little more alert that fact that somebody was here and is basically signing off on the fact that this bolt is tight.
Yeah. I think that's like a really significant point because, you know, that was a big issue with that, even with the patent and stuff with Leaper Kim. So to see somebody actually going ahead and doing that is...
I'm not impressed by a little paint. I'll be impressed if they're tight.
Yeah, exactly, right?
I really like the spring on this. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice. What's that? Yeah, take those 4 off. It's really nice that they're actually providing us with this now.
Tray.
All the time we have to buy sheets of Lexan or acrylic or whatever it is. Inmotion's giving us this with the good stuff, 3M.
Yeah.
Not just the one that says M.
I noticed that right away when it came out. I was like, oh, this is like, that's a fairing. It's straight up like...
Let's see where we're at.
They're pretty... I saw them when the pedal was still on there.
They're not that tight. No, they're not that tight for sure.
So when you're starting to ride, those are going to loosen up.
This is just a T-handle. You know, normally if you want to check tightness of something, that we either use a torque bar or you can have an Allen key with an angle on it, like an old school L Allen key. So for me to be able to put this much tension on this with a one-handed and to just turn it like this, in my opinion, not acceptable. So anybody that's getting an Inmotion V14 that's not from us, make sure you pull it apart. And we're gonna pull it apart now and see if there's any oil on the threads. Because another thing I really wanna mention is a lot of people, when they bought patent from Leaper Kim, they pulled the wheel apart. They're like, oh, I put Loctite on it. Why isn't it, the bolt still broke? What happened? But what they're not realizing, Loctite doesn't give any strength to a bolt if you're dealing with oil and Loctite together in between the threads. We're gonna do a little finger check here. I'll just run the threads down my finger like this and push on it. Then I'll use the reflection of the light to see that there's actually no grease here. I'll also note that there is 0 Loctite or any type of thread lock on this bolt.
There's nothing on my hands either. When
Inmotion, as much as I love you, what's going on? Come on, that's not cool. So we're gonna pull these 4 out and we're gonna put some Loctite in it. The thing that I don't understand that makes me puzzled about this whole thing is somebody before me was in China in a factory putting this together. So somebody's hand was already here. Why didn't they just go that little bit more? You know, I don't get it. But anyway, we're gonna fix that. I'm gonna go grab the Loctite.
I think Loctite's pretty crucial too, and you see that a lot because these things vibrate so much that things come loose. We were just riding the patent, doing the patent review, and you just heard it going. We opened it up, and it was just loose screw problem. And screw broke. Loctite, that would have solved the patent if it was tight enough.
No, because from patent.
If it was tight enough.
No, because patent from the factory, the threads on the patent were greasy.
Right.
They had some sort of assembly lube or something on it.
Those are almost dusty and dry.
These are nice and dry, which is good. And let me check in the light here. I think we have...
They have like sediment in the
threads. We have a
threads.
12.9 grade bolt. So this is a good bolt. Actually, you know what? There is just a little bit of thread locker on there. Just a little bit.
There's the smallest touch of Loctite just hidden.
So check this out, Eric. This is how much Loctite that I personally use when I'm doing a bolt. If anybody has any questions about that, that's what I use right there. I'll just let it sit on the tip of the bolt, and once you want to chase that in there, that amount of Loctite will spin itself around the threads and cover the whole bolt. If you're buying an Inmotion V14, be sure to take these bolts out and put proper Loctite on them.
That's something you should be doing regularly anyway. If you're
It's true.
riding this wheel hard, you should be taking it apart and making sure this stuff is done.
Yeah, maybe
You can't just do this once and ride it all summer and
No,
expect
for
it to
sure.
hold up, you know?
And I think like maybe it's something that I should stop complaining about because it's just the way it is.
It is.
These wheels are this way. We're not going to get anything better, and that's okay. It gives the owner of the wheel a little bit of chance to learn a little bit about the wheel before they start beating on it and understand it. Jameson, can you get Marty on YouTube again?
Did you notice this? In box, they give you either bumpers, so you could bump it up, or you could do that.
Oh, very cool.
They give you the choice of either one.
So, orange belongs to Inmotion. Bigode copied Inmotion, which is okay. China loves to copy everywhere they go. And that's okay, because realistically, how many colors are you going to choose, right? Why not copy the guy that's already cool, like Inmotion? First impressions on this wheel, I'm going to chime in because I really like the quality of the plastic body. Plastic injection molding is something that Inmotion has brought into their wheels, and it's not really something that anybody else does except for their LCD display covers. I love that about this wheel. It has a proper fitment. There's not big gaps and uneven spaces. Everything is crisp and tight. Even the handle, we're gonna get into the handle shortly, but the handle is a really nice fitment. That's your charge port there, yeah. The thing is, at this point in the unicycle game, it's really hard to have wheels looking very differently. We got a tire, we got 4 batteries, a motor, and a control board. So the fact that Inmotion chose to do this design diving out front with the headlight and the display, it's kind of cool. It's out of the box, very different than anything else out there, and it's kind of exciting.
So one of the, on the other side where the phase wires, the motor wires come out, they cover up one of the axle bolts.
Yeah.
So who knows how tight that one is, and that's kind of a struggle to get into. Gotta bring out some more tools.
One thing I'd like to note, this is the same situation as the Bigode Master, okay? Everybody knows Master has 3 bolts on one side. Why? Because the phase wires come out of the hub and go up to the controller. One thing that I'll note is that Inmotion didn't feel the need to ditch one bolt for no reason because there's a wire there. What they do, they made room for both, like it should be. Why have 3 on one side and 4 on the other? Has any wheel broken from that design? No. Does it matter in the big picture? Probably not. But why do it? That's my point, is that Inmotion takes a little bit more time to incorporate everything into their builds, and no corners cut at all.
That's kind of like, it doesn't crack. It just kind of...
Yeah, if there's good Loctite on it, it'll go.
Yeah, with that, it's just like, it just kind of gives. There's no... To get that last screw out, good luck with your fingers. It just probably isn't gonna happen. You do have to get in there with some sort of plier into the head to get it out. Find the hole again. Ooh.
V14 has the 4,000 watt motor and the 2,200 watt hour packs and a 134 volt system. Now you can peak 9,000 watts with that motor. With V13, myself, I've seen 12,000 watt peak, which isn't recommended, but it is possible. So the fact that this wheel has a Raptor controller and it's gonna pack the same sort of power delivery system as V13 with a much smaller wheel, super exciting to me because V13 I'm very comfortable on and also feel very safe on and haven't been hurt on or had a cutout on since. One thing that I'd like to do, so Inmotion started this thing, they're like, oh, let's call it a mono wheel, right? In their manual, they're calling it an electric unicycle, so pick one.
Yeah.
The one thing that I'd like to start a movement, I don't know if it's possible, we're calling these 16-inch wheels when it's a 12-inch wheel. The rim is 12-inch. We need to start calling them by the rim size, right?
Can we get some standardization
Well,
around
that
here?
happens to people sometimes. I just seen a post the other day on the unicycle group. He's like, I ordered a tire, and he shows a tire that's this big, an 18-inch tire, or sorry, a 14-inch tire, but actually 14-inch, way bigger than what we need, right?
Yeah,
So
14-inch tire, not rim. Yeah.
I don't know if it's some superstition where the bigger numbers sound better or what it is, but this is our little LED display. We got an EX30, and then we got the patent, and the good old V11. The guy behind the camera right now, he's the one who makes them. Go to miniwheel.ca and check it out. You see everybody doing this stuff, right? You know, you're playing around. It's something to do in the office, something to do in the car. You can get them with a little keychain. You can put them on a necklace.
Airplane to competitions.
Hey?
Airplane to competitions. Waiting for the plane, I'm always bringing it out.
Yeah, there's always something to do. I mean, tech decks were cool, but these are way cooler. These are way cooler. If you own a wheel, you gotta have one. Brett has managed to get the Loctite on all 8 bolts for the motor. So they're just going everything over the last couple bolts now. We're just gonna make sure we got Loctite where we need it. And anybody, realistically, you don't have to be good with tools to understand how to do this. It can be pretty straightforward. You need an Allen key that's a 5mm and a 4mm and some Loctite. Loctite 242 can be bought at any hardware store, your Home Depot, Princess Auto, Harbor Freight. No Home Depot?
Yeah, it's
okay.
got a little
Scratch Home Depot. But yeah, your Harbor Freight, Princess Autos, all those stores down in the
it
States,
pulls up
everybody's
over
got that. This is the good
All the
stuff.
way.
We don't have a lot of tire selection for these off-road tires. This is the same tire that comes on Commander Mini, Patton, Extreme, and now Inmotion V14. It's a good tire. I have no complaints with it, but it'd be nice if we had a little bit more selection. One thing I like about it is it comes with Velcro, so we don't have to play around and use Velcro and buy Velcro to make it fit. One thing I do not like, which is not, I can't say it's not acceptable, but why do we have 3M tape in the place where we need Velcro the most? Reason we need Velcro here more than the 3M tape is that if there's comes time to service and we want to pull battery packs off, now we're separating and destroying our original bonded area from the 3M tape through the battery packs. So, although this is very nice and thoughtful and we appreciate it, it'd be ideal to put Velcro here or nothing. Or screws, yeah, if it was screwed on, that'd be also really cool. But if they don't want to go that route and they put some Velcro on it, or even just supplied us with the Velcro, or didn't put anything on it at all, would also be good. We got a nice, this is what I was talking about earlier about gaps and spacing with V14. You can see it's very flush at the front of the battery pack, flush at the rear, just enough room for the pedals to clear, and look at that, perfect fitment. So.
Yeah, they give you more Velcro
Oh, that's
with
great.
the pads as well, which is nice. So I don't know if anybody's noticed, but these look oddly familiar. I'm pretty sure these are the exact same pads as on the Patton,
Yep.
Or that the Patton can come with.
Patton comes with the same pads.
Which is actually nice because I think these are pretty comfortable. Like
I really
compared
like
to
them too, yeah.
Almost any stock pads, yeah, these are not bad actually. They have like a nice amount of give. They're firmer than like the typical 3D printed stuff.
All right, Jaden,
A lot of pads now.
let's get this.
We get these pads set up. Oh yeah, definitely just put those on back.
All right. It's going to be in transport mode still. Yeah. Oh, yeah. One of the things I like about V13, you leave the wheel on, and as soon as you power it into the charger, it'll override, kill the wheel, and start charging. I like how simple they kept things here. No touch screen. One downfall about V13 and V12 is the display screen. There's times where they don't work. When it's cold, they don't work. There's little issues here and there. It's one more thing to go wrong. So I'm glad they went with something very simple that doesn't have a touch interface on it. That's just there to see what we need to see. And I do see that they put a 1. It's not a, hey, look, it's not a, it's not an 8 or like the blank, right? It's just a 1, so
Free spin?
maybe.
10 amp,
No, it's a 3 amp.
3 amp.
Factory 3 amp. It says adventure.
Oh, I unplugged it.
Please read and watch the safety reminders. So it's kind of nice. Inmotion has broken down just the basics: your dashboard, your power button, headlight, kickstand, mudguard. Just in case you don't know what things are called, it just gives you a little bit of brains here, showing you how to charge your wheel.
Did you read that word for word?
Successfully authorized as main owner.
What's that mean?
Hold on there, cowboy.
That second beat
Should
is
be good.
everything, though.
Stand her up, see how it goes. If it'll.
Boom.
All right.
It was such a nice catch.
It was very, very soft.
We haven't touched anything.
It's low. It's a little low. You could hear it, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely low. Yeah, sure knows how to handle any wheel. Paper? Any paper?
Oh, yeah.
Please and thank you. So one thing that I gotta show people is these pieces of paper, how important they are when you're setting your pads. Joed showed me this. You can put your piece of paper on the battery box and slide your pad inside like this. Set yourself up however you want. Normally I do it with just my leg a little bit forward instead of it being straight like the shock tube. Lean forward a little bit and set your pads where you want, like this. A little bit down on the toe, like that. And then you grab the corner of this. Oh, my crippled hand here. And no, don't help me, I'm fine. Right? And then you just pull this away. Boom, there's your position. It's very helpful, very simple, very silly, but it works really well. What I like about this too, Patton had the same design pad, and one thing that I really liked about these pads was this line. For me, not everybody's gonna be the same way, but if you line that pad up with your battery box, you can pick whatever height you want, and it's a perfect angle.
Look at the.
Do it gently and slowly. Shut itself off.
Yeah, it knows what it's doing.
Cut out.
I don't like that because maybe it'll do that in the air when you're jumping it. If you get a good. Beep, 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 beep. Let's try that again.
All wheels
very
do that.
low
though.
battery right now. It's
Yeah,
like the lowest
38%. It just dips.
Yeah.
It's ready to rock and roll, this thing.
Linkage, yeah, the linkage looks super clean, very durable, completely flat. Good protection if it falls, if it rolls over, you know the shock's not gonna get hit because it gives you the option to put a bumper or the kickstand. Put the kickstand, it'll save your rim probably.
One thing that's really cool about this shock too is it's got your adjustment on the fly here. So like you go to extreme, you can change your dampness on the fly or your rebound. What is this one here? That's your compression adjustment. So that's gonna be nice to have. You're riding along in the dirt, you need a little more cushion, just reach back, crank it up. You're on the street, you want a little more, something a little more firm for hard cornering, you can just adjust it on the fly as you go. So Inmotion's design here with this rubber insert, it's a nice tight fit. Not too hard to get off.
It's definitely easy to get back in.
Tell you that we are currently charging the V14 at 16 amps. Per 4, 8, 12, 16.
15 point something.
Yeah, in and around.
Like it's nice. I like it.
It feels like the Extreme, and I hate
Yeah.
to say it. I was really hoping it had
A
Commander.
chonky Extreme maybe.
I really had it. I was hoping it had Commander Mini / patent torque feel, but it's got Extreme torque feel.
I could stay on it. I could pendulum nicely. It's kind of what you expect from a smaller wheel. You know, just
Cool thing about the Adventure is when we got it out of the box, it had 38% battery and an hour and 15 minutes. What were we charging it at? 16 amps. 16 amps. Now that's the first wheel that I know out of the box you're able to do
To be
16
exact,
amps
just
from.
under.
Yeah.
99% right now.
Oh, it is torquey.
Now it's, but you feel how you gotta give it. Now it's how many volts?
Yeah, it's not snappy like patent, but it feels like it's got a ton of power. We've done the same thing with all three of its competitors. Extreme, Commander Mini, and Patent. That's pretty impressive, I like to do. At least it's burning the tire. Maybe it's because the tire's new, because the other wheels would not do that. That's awesome.
There you go.
You know, when you're coming in the city and you're going over a bump and you gotta stop hard, this thing's just gonna go and yeah, so I just gave the compression knob about 6 clicks to increase the pressure, and it's definitely noticeable. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. Woo. Yeah, okay, princess, your turn, baby. Here. Come on, come on. Up. Come here, baby, come. See this paw right here? Put this paw here. Look, this is a nice wheel. Overall, I'm really impressed with it. Right behind the plastic here, there's a metal frame. These are removable, and they come with the set from the factory that are, if you smash these up, you can replace them with. I don't feel very grippy on them, that's for sure.
You can't use the wheel the way it's supposed to be used.
No, they're too narrow. Even the toe is so narrow compared to the front. See how much skinnier it is? That was a graceful letdown.
Oh,
That was
I
graceful.
can't breathe.
What do you think, Jesse? First impressions, first 5 seconds.
Really nice. Feels really stable. I should have maybe looked at the seat. There really isn't a seat on this. Oh, it feels really nice. Like you can feel the weight of the wheel, but like when I throw it over, I expect it to want to just fall over, but it doesn't. It's actually really stable at slow turn. Apparently, not usually. That was a new technique. That was a new technique.
Back at Ride 1, the boys just took V14 out, and
It's 1 a.m. in Toronto.
what time is it now? It's 1 a.m. See, we're still up late. It's not a Monday morning though. So, Brett, what happened? And Jaden, you guys want to fill us in? See, I didn't go on the ride, so tell us what happened.
Explain it, yeah.
Well, what's that? Yeah, no, you're good. Oh, well, basically, Brett took the wheel down the stairs a few times. It looked like it could handle it, and then decided to do the same thing as the Extreme, take it up the stairs. It was good the first time, made it up a good, 10 set? Yeah. 15 set. Yeah. And then did it the second time, and just bonked it, and it just freaking
right off the bonk, right away. We just.
I don't think we filled it up with enough air
Yeah.
to begin with to like really press it
Definitely.
to the.
It's this is nothing to do with manufacturer's
No, no,
fault in any way. Totally us, just being crazy.
But
a
it
little bit
did
too
have-
excited to get on the wheel and go beat on it.
It did have a spill because it's obviously Canada in the winter, and I spilled about on a right-hand turn, probably going like what 25, and it just
Handled it
some
pretty good.
scratches.
This is actually pretty tough. Oh, that's
Yeah.
steel inside.
Is it?
Yeah, it's cool
Oh,
to
no,
see
it's
the
not.
steel
It's not.
underneath, but it's kind of sad to also see the plastic. You know it's gonna crack. You know it's gonna fray like this.
I don't know if this will crack, to be
It
honest.
is what it.
It's good stuff.
We'll have to see.
It is good stuff.
But I
at
like the
same time,
bumpers because
it's
you can
nice to have the
you can
metal on metal.
replace these. You can screw these right out, and you can get replacements for this.
So Jaden,
replace the
one
handles.
thing,
it's nice.
like we were just chatting over there, and you were telling me, we've ridden together. Me and you have ridden Commander Mini, Patton,
T4.
Extreme, T4, all the 16-inch wheels that have been produced.
Yes.
How do you
every-
think? Like up to now, it was Patton was the king for power.
Patton,
anyway.
for power,
For
yeah.
just power.
Overall, Patton is definitely the top of them, but this just has, it's just engineered so, it's just again, like it's an Inmotion wheel. It's over-engineered. There's just so, everything's perfect.
But for people that don't know and haven't ridden Inmotion
It's
wheels,
stiff, it's solid, there's no loose parts, there's no ding dangs, there's no weird sounds,
Clinking and
no nothing.
clunking.
Yeah, even the motor, like it's a 40-inch motor. It's technically a replica of the C40 because it's the only thing we have it to compare it to.
Yeah.
But it just, even on a 50-degree incline from a dead stop, 200 pounds, everybody was just like, you'll see in the footage, you can. What is happening? Super slow, and they all say the same thing. Everyone's like,
yeah.
what the bleep, what the
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
everyone's like, it doesn't even
it's
feel
like you're
real.
levitating. I
Yeah.
got that same sense in with
Yeah.
Patton was the first time.
It
I
has
skied.
the most low-end torque when we did the free spin,
Yeah.
how it dips really hard. If you're spinning in the air, I don't know if it's just gonna dip itself forward and cut out, or
We'll
how
have
it's
to
gonna
find that
work.
out
Yeah,
the
so
hard
we'll
way.
have to see.
I don't know, like you could tell right away it's a 16-inch wheel. It acts like a 16-inch. There's something about like that radius underneath your feet. You could feel it right away. But this feels like it's something Inmotion hasn't given us before.
Yeah.
It's that gnarly side we've been asking for. We know Inmotion to be like this safe company. There's something that, you know, they check all the boxes, and when you get a product, it's refined. You know what's going on.
Yeah.
But we haven't gotten that like that crazy torque kind of like
Yeah, we
beast
haven't
out
got
of it.
the punch that we've wanted.
Yeah, exactly,
I
right?
agree.
So this kind of gives you that punch we've been waiting for in Motion. They gave us the high-speed wheel with, you know, all the safeties we can ask out of it. But, you know, can you give us something that can go up a mountain?
Yeah.
Can you give us something that can get us up? Like, I took this up a little 45-degree angle or even more. I didn't even have to lean into it. It was nothing. Like, I've had an RS High Torque for almost 3 years now.
no,
and I keep
that's
on comparing that
good old
to this
faithful.
with suspension. And, you know, the only thing I would have to worry about this is the amount of plastic on it. Like, this is an off-road wheel. You want to throw this around, you want to trash it, you're going to hit it on the side a couple of times. This is great plastic and everything, but I have a fear of it kind of cracking. There's a lot of metal underneath it and whatnot. But if that's my only complaint,
Yeah,
and it's
that's
not
fair.
it's not about the
fair.
performance of the wheel or anything like that, like, I think this is, you know, you're looking at some sort of winner. There's something about a high torque wheel. You want a high torque wheel to get you from 0 to 50, and especially that first part of the 0 to 50 really eloquently in a way, right? Where a high speed wheel, you're looking for something 50 and above kilometers an hour to be smooth. This nails it. It truly does. Like when you're the 0 to 5, you're 0 to 10. I would very much encourage you to compare this to the Patton because you're a big time Leap or Kim Patton lover, and this is going to be the comparison next to you. Like, can Inmotion really pull that out?
It's the first wheel that I've got on, and I've been like, wow.
So we're gonna take this wheel onto the ice this year, along with many other wheels that we have. We're gonna do a little ice special to keep everybody entertained up here in the north side of the northern hemisphere where it's cold. All you Yankee Doodles down there staying warm can enjoy your sunshine weather while we're out here freezing our buns off, but we're gonna do it just to keep ourselves entertained. So that's gonna conclude our little initial video for V14. I wanna thank E-Rider A for being here, Shira, Jesse, JT, EUC, Mr. Jameson, and Paige, she's in the back. B-Ray. What's up, B-Ray? Thank you, guys. Oh, and by the way, we almost have 2,000 subs. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much for that. That's awesome. We never thought we'd be here so quickly. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and tell your friends and family. Thank you.